Hello, this is James Hudnall, another episode of Creative Secrets number 27. This one is about supporting characters. Supporting characters exist to support your main character, your protagonist, who is often called the hero. Everything that they do should be in support of the story and the characters. If they don't have a purpose in the story, then they don't belong in the story. So you should not fill your story with characters that are not related to what's happening. That is a simple fact, because you have a limited amount of time to tell your story. You have a limited amount of space to tell your story, even if you're writing a novel. What your supporting characters do is they fill in the blanks and they provide color for the story. So they provide personality, they provide a chance to show the different sides of the other characters through their interaction. Basically give us information that we need to know in the story. And there's a lot of other ways that they can be used, but basically they have a purpose. And my basic principle that I've discussed before about characterization is that they should have some kind of definition beyond just the basics. The 1- and 2-dimensional character is used for characters that have a very limited purpose in the story, but generally you want to give us a sense that there's more to them than just the few lines that they say. We should have a sense of there's a person behind this particular facade, and that's something that we can do, but we shouldn't get carried away with it. We shouldn't let them take over the story, which some people do. Some people get enamored of their supporting characters and let them take over, which is a mistake. So keep that in mind. As I've said previously, a lot of our information about storytelling comes from thousands of years ago, mainly from the ancient Greeks and their playwrights, and specifically Aristotle, one of the great philosophers, who also wrote the Poetics, which codifies storytelling in a way that is still used today. And basically our stories, our characters are classified into protagonists, antagonists, the chorus, and extras. And that sort of is what supporting characters fall into, those categories. Protagonists, supporting characters, are characters that are on the side of the hero. Antagonists, supporting characters, are on the side of the villain, so they would be like minions and so on. And then the chorus, in Greek plays, the chorus was sort of like the voice of the observers of the situation, that they would tell the audience basically information. They would do the info dumps and tell you everything that you need to know about the story. In our modern world, the chorus would be essentially characters that act as people who provide information through their interactions with other characters, and their dialogue kind of tells us things that are important. They're not so obvious as in the Greek plays, where they were just talking directly to the audience. Even Shakespeare used the chorus a lot, but and then extras are your characters that have walk-on parts, small parts, where they just come in and they say a line or they do something, and their purpose is to set off an action or to just bring in information and then leave, so that is the basic structure of supporting characters as we know them. The thing to remember about them is that the heroes and the villains don't have all the facts. And so what happens in reality, just as well as in a story hopefully, is that other characters, other people have pieces of the information that is needed in the story, or in the case of our lives, we need to get information from other people about what's going on in our world, and they serve a purpose of providing that information to us to help us in our life and in our goal, and in the case of your story, your hero, so that they know what has to happen or what they need to know at the time of need in your story, or sometimes after the time of need, or sometimes before the time of need. But their purpose is to help your characters, even though they don't know that, even though you only know that, and the audience should not know that they're there for that purpose. It should not be obvious that what you're doing is using these characters to fulfill your goals. But essentially, you need to understand that that's what they're for. You don't want your story to feel artificial, so you want to make sure that when characters meet and they interact, it's natural and it doesn't feel forced or faked. But again, you just need to understand why they're there and what's going on and what their purpose is. So any character in the story that is helping the hero in some way is the protagonist's support, and they exist to help the hero in some way, even if it's not always in the most positive way. They can be a detractor, but there could be a detractor in the sense of a friend or a family member trying to help them by criticizing them. They're trying to help them by pushing them into a certain direction that also may be what you want them to go in. And you're motivating them through some kind of motivational method, whether it be goading or just positive reinforcement. Or they could be the helpful assistant or mentor. A mentor tries to motivate the hero and help the hero and scale up the hero's knowledge by giving them information that they need to get better at what they're doing. Whereas the helpful assistant provides support that gives them information. So if you look at all of those pulp action heroes from the 30s, they all had all kinds of helpers that helped them, like Doc Savage in The Shadow. They had all these assistants that helped them get to where they needed to be. So that's what the purpose of those characters were, to serve a function to provide certain information to the hero so that he could achieve the goal that he had. The same thing would be true of antagonist supporting characters. They basically help the antagonist or the villain achieve what they're trying to do. So whichever characters are supporting the villain, they have specific needs and goals in mind that mirror what the heroes do, but in reverse, so they're working for a different cause. Now, in the chorus, what we have are characters who exist sort of like the social conscience or some kind of observer's views on the situation to give us a well-rounded sense of what's going on. So different characters would comment or interact in such a way to provide a sense of what's going on from a different perspective in each case, providing a more well-rounded and fleshed out reality. And that's how the chorus can operate. The extras are more limited in scope, so their basic function is to be there to instigate a scene or to create a moment of levity, like a joke or something like that, to create humor or drama in a scene, but their action or interaction with the hero or antagonist is limited, and they're going to be in and out of there really fast. So that's how the basic breakdown of these things go. So remember that every character has a purpose, but supporting characters are there to support. And that's it for this episode. Next time we'll be talking about archetypes. And I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave a like for me. I'd really appreciate it. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Please tell your friends about this series. Or share the video. I would really appreciate that. Anything you do will help me get this channel up to higher numbers because I need more subscribers. I've been stuck at where I'm at for a while, and I want to keep it going. So that's it for now, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.